It is always a pleasure to be a guest at the Europe Day dinner hosted by the European Chamber of Commerce Taiwan. I believe I have attended all the Europe Day dinners since I became president, except the one canceled last year due to the pandemic. So, needless to say, I'm very happy to join you all for the 6th time, and I hope I keep receiving invitations in the future. I can make it a habit. I want to begin my talk by thanking Chairman Zhang for his invitation. I had a wonderful conversation during the premium event grand dinner in January, and it is wonderful to see you again. The ECCT, under Chairman Zhang's leadership, has prospered and thrived. It now has, as he said, has now 1,000 individual members and continues to expand its services and membership. I know it requires tremendous efforts and dedication to assume the leadership of this important organization, especially as the pandemic has repeatedly brought new challenges to all of us. The hard work Chairman Zhang and members of the ECCT have put into advancing economic cooperation and the trade relationship between Taiwan and Europe deserves a big round of applause. I also want to express my gratitude to Representative Jakuczewski. Since his arrival in Taiwan in 2019, he has been working diligently to facilitate a strong and closer Taiwan-EU relationship and making Taiwan an indispensable partner to the EU. I remember Representative Jakuczewski said in an interview that, I quote, "Taiwan is a like-minded partner of the EU. We have much in common, starting with human rights, democracy, and rule of law. All the values are part of the Europe DNA, are also an integral part of what makes Taiwanese Taiwanese." This is why it is so easy for us to engage in meaningful dialogue with Taiwan on so many issues, unquote. We actually did have many meaningful dialogues over the past few years. And we have vigorous and productive discussions on trade, and economic issues, culture, academic and technology exchanges, supply chain partnership, as well as consultations on human rights and democratic unity. Representative, this time I would call him Philip, his office also facilitated many groundbreaking forums, which laid the foundation for stronger and more substantive cooperation between Taiwan and the EU for our future. I also want to take this opportunity to thank the European Union and its member states for their persistent and strong support for Taiwan. Thank you all again for your persistent advocacy for Taiwan's inclusion in the World Health Organization and for supporting the security of Taiwan and the region. There's one thing I would like to mention here again, that is, that Taiwan was in need of life-saving vaccines last year. Member states of the European Union came to our assistance with donations, so we were able to combat the initial spread of COVID-19 variants while waiting for the arrival of the vaccines that we had purchased. For this, Taiwan will be forever grateful. I would define last year as a year of robust cooperation and partnership between Taiwan and the EU. And this robust relationship has continued to flourish this year. We would felt that this is a partnership that is built on our shared value of democracy. The European Parliament and parliaments of EU member states have expressed unprecedented levels of support for Taiwan. Last September, the EU included Taiwan explicitly in a joint communication on its strategy for cooperation in the Indo-Pacific, which pledged to strengthen cooperation with Taiwan. Last October, the European Parliament passed a recommendation of EU-Taiwan political relations and cooperation, which then urged the EU to take a proactive role with international partners to safeguard peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait, to sustain democracy in Taiwan, and to include Taiwan as an important partner in the EU's Indo-Pacific strategy. This February, the European Parliament passed a common foreign and security policy and a common security and defense policy, which expresses grave concern over China's continued military maneuvers in the Taiwan Strait and the threats that they pose to peace and stability in the region. Throughout last year, delegations from Europe visited Taiwan by diplomatic bubbles to lend their support and to discuss further cooperation and mutual assistance. As the international community is easing pandemic border restrictions, Taiwan will continue to review and evaluate all measures, border and otherwise, in order to make international travel easier. Last October, our Foreign Minister Joseph Wu visited several European countries. Taiwan's National Development Council Minister Gong Mingxin also led a trade delegation to Central and Eastern Europe. Both trips produced impressive results. Now, a 24-member delegation led by Taiwan's Deputy Minister of Economic Affairs, Sun Keqiu, is now visiting Lithuania and Brussels. We hope there will be productive conversation on cooperation, particularly in such areas as semiconductors, electric vehicles, and biotechnology. All this engagement will build on the momentum generated by the Taiwan EU Supply Chains Forum and the EU investment forums over the past years. Through these forums, business leaders from Taiwan and the EU have opportunities to deepen Taiwan-US connectivity, synchronize our policy goals, and lay the foundation for future cooperation. I hope Taiwan and the EU can continue to work together, particularly on restructuring secure and resilient supply chains, and on green energy and the digital economy to complement the EU's economic recovery plan. As a result, Taiwan's investment in Europe is at all-time high. The cumulative direct investment in Taiwan by European businesses has also exceeded $50 billion, making Europe Taiwan's largest source of foreign investment. More importantly, total trade between Taiwan and Europe topped $85 billion last year. As we move towards solidifying our economic cooperation, we can never forget the constantly changing geopolitical landscape and the importance of safeguarding our democracies. Russia's invasion of Ukraine serves as a reminder that authoritarian regimes will use whatever means necessary to achieve their expansionist goals. as we are deeply moved by the Ukrainian people's determination in defending the democratic way of life. Democracies like us should work together to help one another to fend off military and political warfare from authoritarian regimes. In my New Year's address to the nation this year, I said, we plan to strengthen our ties with Europe. As a response to the EU's global backdrop, we introduced the Taiwan-Europe Connectivity Initiative. This initiative is a joint effort by multiple government ministries and agencies here. As part of this initiative, our National Development Council has established the Central and Eastern European Investment Fund. And with this fund, we will be able to promote cooperation and development related to semiconductors, biotechnology, laser technology, and other strategic industries. I want to reiterate here that Taiwan stands prepared and ready to cooperate with EU member states in areas where we share mutual interests. As we work diligently to leave the pandemic behind while facing the challenges of authoritarianism, it is more important than ever for Taiwan and EU to work together to assist the global community in economic recovery and to prevent democratic backsliding. In this connection, I would like to note that the Taiwan-EU bilateral investment agreement can be the giant step in our move towards an even more concrete and solid partnership. Our future can only be more positive and prosperous when we work together as partners and friends. Lastly, I want to thank Chairman Dunn for the invitation so I can join you all tonight. And thank you again, Representative Secretary for your passion and dedication to the Taiwan-EU relationship. And representatives of the European Union member states, thank you for your continuous friendship and support. Now I have to say, please take good care of yourselves and stay healthy. Have a wonderful evening and dinner. Thank you all.